a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC Worldwide and Jib Jab greetings. I'm Bud Lowell, and your full AccuWeather forecast is always on the top of your CNC local news pages. Party-designated candidates in 2 Rochester area state assembly races swept to easy victories in Democratic and Republican Party primary elections. Here's how everything shook out once all the districts were counted. An hour after the polls closed at 9 p.m., it was clear that State Assemblyman David Gant had easily turned back a primary challenge from 2 other Rochester Democrats who also wanted the party's nomination to run for the new 137th Assembly District seat in November. The 137th is a new seat created by redistricting after the 2010 census. It covers much of the city and part of Gates. With the endorsement of the Monroe County Democratic Committee and a highly practiced network of supporters, Assemblyman Gant won 69% of the vote. Challenger Jose Cruz, a Rochester School Board member who also served for a number of years on the Monroe County Legislature, won 20%. Monroe County legislator and former Rochester City Council member John Lightfoot came in third at about 11%. Assemblyman Gant is chairman of the powerful Transportation Committee. He has served in the Assembly since 1983. This is the first time in 20 years that he's had a primary challenge. There's a Green Party candidate in the race, but no Republican, so Gant is essentially elected in November. A Republican Party primary was the second high-profile contest in the Rochester area Thursday. Redistricting moved the 133rd Assembly District seat into Livingston County and the 4 southernmost towns of Monroe. Both Bill Nojay and Richard Burke wanted to be the Republican candidate for that seat. With all votes in, Nojay will be the candidate with more than 74% of the vote to just over 25.5% for Burke. Nojay is a conservative talk show host, and he's the former chair of the Rochester-Genesee Regional Transportation Authority. Burke is the former mayor of the village of Avon, and he was the choice of New York's Conservative Party for the seat. Both men will face Democrat Randolph Weaver of Hornell in November. And at its 8 p.m. check, the Monroe County Board of Elections said 11.3% of registered Democrats and 15% of eligible Republicans had gone to the polls. There's news from Camp Good Days and Special Times, where founder and chairman Gary Mervis, he's the guy in the middle here, says the 3rd annual Courage Award will go to the 6 individuals who put themselves on the line this summer to rescue a father and his 2 small children from the Erie Canal. The Courage Award is presented to someone who displays courage, strength, and determination at a time of great struggle or need. It's presented at the annual Courage Bowl football game between the St. John Fisher Cardinals and the University of Rochester Yellow Jackets to benefit the children and families at Camp Good Days. The 3rd annual award goes to Rochester Police Department Officer Paul Dondorfer, Rochester Police Department Officer Adam Alite, Dr. David Lambert of the University of Rochester Medical Center, Lindsay Wall, Sarah Navarez, and Bridget Hughes, all medical students at the U of R School of Medicine. When 2 young children in a stroller rolled into the Erie Canal last month, all 6 teamed up spontaneously to rescue the children and their father. Courage Bowl 8 is Saturday evening at St. John Fisher College. Camp Good Days is the camping and recreation program for children and their families coping with cancer. Rochester police and firefighters were busy early Friday morning with a couple of incidents. First, a rollover crash on East Avenue near Colby Street, and this happened about 2:30 a.m. An SUV crashed, rolled into a parked car, and then that was a chain reaction. It shoved that car into 2 other parked cars and damaged all 3 of them. The driver was taken to Strong Memorial Hospital, and police are looking into whether alcohol or excessive speed had anything to do with it. Then came a fire over on the west side about 4:30 in the morning on McNaughton Street. 3 firefighters were injured when the first floor collapsed while they were in the house. The fire was in the basement, and it burned through the floor beams. 1 firefighter and the living room furniture fell into the basement on top of 2 others who were working the fire in the cellar. All 3 were taken to Strong Memorial with non-life-threatening injuries. The house was heavily damaged, and the cause is under investigation. Researchers at the University of Rochester Medical Center have found some new genetic evidence linking cholesterol and cancer. That raises the still untested possibility that cholesterol medications could be useful for cancer prevention or to augment existing cancer treatment. The data was published in an online journal called Cell Reports. It supports several recent studies suggesting individuals who take those cholesterol-lowering statins may have a reduced risk of cancer, and conversely that individuals with high levels of cholesterol seem to have an elevated risk of cancer. Senior author Hartmut Land, also known as Hucky Land of the Wilmot Cancer Center, says buildup of cholesterol in cells appears to interfere with the mechanism that causes a cell to stop reproducing when its genetic code becomes defective. If that death trigger mechanism doesn't work, a cell with the wrong genetic code can start reproducing uncontrollably, and that becomes a tumor. A lot more study needs to take place to determine if cholesterol-lowering drugs can actually keep that from happening. On this page, you can find links to these and other stories. At the bottom, links you can use. Send us stories you've written, tips, shout-outs, sports items, things you'd like us to follow up on or know about. If it's news to you, we want to have it up here because it is news to us. Next news as it happens, updates when necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.